Good afternoon. I want to welcome each one of you back to our channel and to our program today. This is Dan from the Soulify Group, and if you've been following us the last few weeks, we've had some pretty exciting videos drop, and we're all about discovering that true purposeful life, and hopefully as you are awakening spiritually, you find this content helpful and educational. And so as we move on, we have a pretty exciting program this afternoon as well. So over the last few weeks, we have dropped some videos like What If I Am the Answer, which sort of delves into how to find that true purpose and start that journey, that beautiful journey, and all the questions that arise from doing that, and developing self-awareness. What about self-limiting beliefs, how we can move on from those, and knowing your inner self, which is very important, and also mindfulness, something else that we need to know about. So knowing ourselves is one of the most important quests, actually, of our human lives. Without knowing yourself, you will never be able to discover that beautiful passion, the purpose, all the goals and the destiny, and actually start on your journey, because that's what we really are aiming to do, right? And so we should always operate inside this beautiful heart space. Stay out of the head. You know, your head space is like for analytical, and you need to think of, you're detailing something, you're trying to analyze something. But you should always operate from the beautiful heart space that you have, meaning your soul, your heart, your inner self. And again, know thyself sort of details that. And this is where source, universe is, because after all, we are universe, having a specific experience, right? This human experience, we are source. And also this is where our wisdom, our creativity comes from inside. And also this is where that inner compass is. If you've heard some of the last videos, if you've ever been out on the water and you're on a boat or a ship, but you don't have a chart or a compass, guess what? You're just wandering around and you have no idea where you're floating to, right? So we all need a plan. We all need a compass. We need that soul purpose plan, right? So one of the biggest challenges, if you remember back to that first video, if you do follow us, is we have to learn how to come out of our comfort zone, or that beautiful gift wrap box that we all place ourselves in, right? And so many of us get so comfortable we don't even want to stick a finger out or a toe or a foot, but we really have to in order to keep growing. And so a big challenge we need is to understand how to come out, and once we come out, what that's going to do for us, so we can evaluate further our purpose, set goals, and I'll recommend the SMART goals. This is something that we learned as I was finishing up my degree program in the university. This is actually a pretty neat system in that you can set a goal and then track it sort of electronically, and then you can make changes back and forth and kind of journal your kind of the travel path, so to speak. It's always good to take small steps, stay positive, and tap into that beautiful creativity that you have deep inside of you. And one thing we need to do is challenge each one of our existing beliefs. If you're like I am, from years ago, I had a belief system that some were valid and some were not. And so I did each one. I evaluated each one, and it's really a simple process to discard or to delete, a belief, and then put the new one in its place, and so forth and so on until you get most of them done, and then just keep expanding that beautiful comfort zone. So why do we have so many problems leaving our comfort zone? For one thing, fear of the unknown. So as we discover what our true purpose is, what drives our passion, right? And we all have a purpose. Let me set that record straight, because I've talked to so many people that say, I don't even know if I have a purpose. Of course, you have a purpose. God or source, spirit, universe, whatever you resonate with, has put you here at this specific time in this specific place for a reason. And if you don't know what that reason is, we need to start finding that out, and to go on that journey. And again, if you didn't listen to the video, you don't have time to listen to the video or whatnot, you can write to us. We have so many handouts and so many helps to kind of get you started. This is something that you have to do. Each person has a different purpose and destiny. No two people are alike. And so sometimes fear of failure, and I just want you guys to know, all failure is just a temporary stop in what you're doing. So many people put so much stock in, I'm afraid I'm going to not be good at it, or I'm afraid I'm going to fail. Well, first of all, you have to be good at it because that's what your passion is. That's what that higher source put inside of you, probably when you were born, but very soon after, if not before. And so it's always going to resonate with you. You don't have to worry about fear of failure, okay? We just have to get started. And so anxiety is one of those, that we're not equipped to handle anxiety, depression, fear, doubt, pain, all those things. And this is why it causes such, so many wounds, is our bodies were not created to have those things. And because of the world being like it is, so much, going so fast and everybody moving in different directions and all these kinds of things, some of these ideas, some of the mental processes, cause that sort of breakdown when we start to experience stress and depression and all that type of thing. And so if we don't come out of our comfort zone, though, we're going to miss out on a lot of that beautiful growth potential. And I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to thrive just like I am, physically and spiritually, because you can just keep going, and the sky's the limit. There's no ceiling to what you can do. And so just a couple of tips to come out of that comfort zone is surround yourself with some high vibrational people, places, and things. And I included places and things because if you're in the wrong spot, if you're surrounded by a lot of negativity in your environment, then you're not going to be able to, you're not going to thrive like you could thrive if you were, in the right spot. So I'm going to give you a for instance. For instance, I really resonate with nature, and I think I would go kind of crazy if I couldn't be out in nature several times a week and be able to meditate there, take a walk, those types of things. No cell phones, no interruptions, just just out in nature, communing with nature. And so use positive affirmations, because one thing that you can do is reprogram your subconscious if you have a lot of negativity that keeps dumping out of there. And then we want to take small steps, release all that doubt, worry, pain, anxiety, whatever you have built up in this beautiful heart space, or maybe it's still up in your head swirling around. So don't miss out on that beautiful growth that we've been talking about, all the new opportunities. And like I was mentioning before, we're just not wired to handle a lot of stress, anxiety, hypertension, psychosis, all these types of things that happen over time as things compound. And this is what happens when we keep compressing wounds down in the heart space, and allow them to circulate in our head, and allow that ego system to keep interjecting things, right? Sooner or later, we have to lay that egoic system down and operate from the heart. So as we start to step out of the box, the steps that are going to occur are, so when you're in your comfort zone, you're nice and comfy, right? And I like to think of it as a nice little gift wrapped box that we like to sit in, right? We have our favorite food, we have our home, we have everything, and it's all comfortable, and we have our job, and we don't want to hear about having to go and do something else, that type of thing. So some of the things that can occur as you're coming out of the comfort zone is, first of all, you have comfort where you are, and then fear starts to build as you start to contemplate, I'm going to have to, just as an example, I'm going to have to get up before an audience and speak, and I've never done that before, and I'm really terrified about that, right? So these things can happen. Then we start to learn those new things, right? And then we hit that growth, that growth zone, if you want to call it that. And then we discover, hey, this isn't so bad. I can do that. And so after we experience those things, we need to really look at our core beliefs. What is our belief system? What are we used to? What are we still holding on to as a foundation? And then especially limiting beliefs. Now, if you missed the video that I dropped, overcoming limiting beliefs, those are the things that you accumulate, usually from childhood, adolescent age, that tells you things like, I'm not good enough, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too young, I'm too old, nothing ever works out for me, I don't have enough money, whatever it is that you've been told all your life, and you've bought into that. And so we want to understand how to get rid of those things, right? And so something, as we start honing all these things down, and we start narrowing the gap, we start stepping out of the comfort zone, one thing that is going to develop is authenticity. And you've heard me talk a lot about authenticity if you have been one that followed me for quite some time. We've been over on TikTok, Instagram, some on Facebook, not so much. But we talk a lot about authenticity, because as you awaken spiritually, and it really depends on what wounds you have in there, what your experience has been, what kind of background you've had. Most people are wearing several masks over their face. And this is due to, we know our thought processes, we know how our emotional process is, and so we try to appear different to the world than our inner self is actually feeling and thinking. So we pretend to be someone else, right? And so as we start to come out of the comfort zone, we start to discover what our passion is, what the purpose is. We start on that beautiful destiny. And so something amazing happens that we don't even realize until we start to realize it, and that is authenticity starts to develop. And as we get to know our true selves, it's really amazing how the mask will start to drop off. Another one will drop off. And so as we get inside of this soul, and we start to be that observer, and then we start to be aligned with that soul. So now the soul and the body or the human self are starting to get aligned, right? And so I wanted to share a text in the scriptures because it really has to do with what we're talking about. In Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it says, "And be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." And so this is exactly how we're created. So as we start, our soul and our human self starts to align, we're going to find that our mind is actually going to be a new creation. And so some of the things that we cared about before, some of the things that kept us up at night before, is no longer going to keep us up. And so we need to get to know that true self. And again, I will say we need to get down in the heart space, get out of the past. Don't go up in the future, because we start to have all these expectations that are going to happen, that we think are going to happen, right? And we grab on to things. And then as you're asking universe, through the manifestation process, through letting your desires be known, then we start to get in the way of that. And again, when we do our energy workshop, you're going to really be able to see easily that some of the things that we think that we want, we're actually pushing them away. And so we need to understand how to correct that process. And it's so very easy. But when we explain that to you, you're gonna be so amazed that it's so easy. And so, guys, I want you to know that this video that we're doing today is not just a passing video that that I say to myself, oh, I guess it's time to do another video. I need some more likes or whatever. No. This is so important to my heart. This whole subject matter of living that fulfilled life. As people start to, as our collective starts to, heal themselves and be awake spiritually and all of these types of things, we need to be that help to them. And as we all rise together, already we see the energy shift has been just beautiful. And so this video series is actually something that I've had on my heart for a long time. And so we have to know who we are. And we have been created such a powerful soul, each one of us. If you could only see how, Source, Universe, the Creator looks at us, your divine, how they look at our soul, what they think about us. We are a magnificent creation, but sometimes our human self, we with all of the wounds and all of the things that get inside, that get in the way, so to speak, that's where the struggle is. And so it's time we get ourselves together, guys. It's time to act. Find that true purpose. And again, I'll put it out there. If you need help, if you need some kind of pointer, I'll be more than happy to do that. There are many people that are well trained, well versed in finding the purpose and the destiny. I mean, no one can do that for you. That's something you have to do for yourself, but we can certainly help you. And we can certainly point you in the right direction through, providing you with materials, with handouts, with where to go to find the information. And so what activates that passion within you? What lights you up? You don't have to stay where you're at. I hear all the time, I don't like my job. I've had so many broken relationships. I can't find anybody, so forth and so on. I can't make enough money. Things don't have to be like that. But totally realize who you truly are. And we have to go on the inside. We have to sort of be in alignment with our soul. We have to observe, first of all, and find out who you are, what purpose God's source, spirit, whatever you resonate with, has given to you, and then that higher source asks us to live that beautiful moral life. And when I talk about a moral life, I'm not just only talking about I'm going to be careful with my words here. Physical love is not the only thing that living a moral or immoral life is about. It's about the material world. It's about, the fame, the power, all the things that you see human beings in a race to go get, right? Those are not the things that are most important, okay? And so I'm not saying that you can't have those things. Certainly, successful people are living their purposeful life. And also, when I have many examples of people living their purpose-driven life and are wealthy, are famous, and it doesn't mean, that's part of the package. It just means that that was their particular set of circumstances, okay? And so we have to understand the process of currency, of money, as we speak of it. All money is, all currency is energy. It's neither good nor bad. We are the ones that make it that. And so just to sort of whet your appetite a little bit, we're not saying that money is bad. We're not saying that fame is bad. I mean, if you're working your purpose and you're the only person doing it and you just happen, it so happened that the whole world knows you, then that's fantastic. And you will find me out there applauding you as well. So live that moral life that we've been called to live. And also, it takes that faith, that very deep faith and trust in whoever you resonate with, whether that be spirit, source, universe, God, Yahweh. And, I'm not here to change your belief system. And I should have mentioned it at the very beginning, but we welcome people from all walks of life, whether you're an atheist, agnostic, Christian, Buddhist, on and on. You're all welcome here. You're in my house. You're welcome here. And we enjoy different walks of life because as we talk about things, and you'll see when we have interviews and things, we will talk about different subjects. And so I just want you to know that you're all welcome here. And so as we, there's something, it's our source, our creator, God, whatever you resonate in, they are the ones that give you that faith and trust. But by going through the everyday life, you're going to develop more and more trust and faith. in the Creator, in God. And I can tell you that as you go through all the ups and downs of life, this builds even more trust and faith. And I learned so early as a little boy when life really knocked me down. And we're going to actually release a series of videos on my experience from birth all the way to my age now, and in hopes that it can help someone. But by rights, probably I shouldn't even be here before you, talking with you from the experiences that I've had. If it's only through the grace and the love of my of Spirit, Source, Universe, my divine, that I'm even here today. They love us so very much. Each one of us has a guardian angel and a whole angel team that, guard us, that protect us from many things. And so we should get to know who those angels are, who our divine is. What do you believe? That's why I'm prompting you to, if you don't know what your core beliefs are, research it. How do you feel? As we discuss authenticity, there's also something that we develop early on, and that's resilience. As we dig our heels in and we determine that we will never give up, never, never, never give up the fight, the spiritual life. Sometimes this world has a lot of ups and downs waiting on us, right? And I'm not here to say just because you find out what that beautiful purpose is that you're just going to have comfort again. Remember, we came out of that comfort zone, right? And so it brings me actually to the example in the scriptures of Moses. And most of you probably know the story of Moses. But, he was born to an Israelite, he was the son of a Levi or a Levite, and at that particular time in history, a decree had gone out for all male babies to be unalived, and so it's in order to save little baby Moses, his mother, and her name has slipped my mind without looking it up, but weaved a basket, put the little baby in the basket, and put him into the Nile River, and he just so happened to float downstream to the royal palace of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh's sister actually adopted Moses. He was raised, if you remember, as an Egyptian royalty, right? And so he was trained in the best schools. He was trained in the palace, and later became one of the biggest governors of Egypt, one step down from Pharaoh. And so it always bothered Moses that when he found out that wasn't his real mother, he started to investigate and found out that he was an Israelite. And so he got to know his people. He searched out for the mother. And to make a long story short, so we don't make this video so long, to fast forward, so he felt like he should do something for his people, right? The Jewish people. And at that time, as you know, that they were enslaved by the Egyptians. And so to make a long story short, Moses was about 40 years old, and he struck an Egyptian, a man that was pretty high ranking in the Egyptian military. And so he had to flee. God actually took him into the wilderness, or some call it the desert. And so he had to spend 40 years himself in the desert. And so I wanted to ask the question, why do you think God did that? Why do you think he took him out in the desert? At first, he was solitary. Later, he married. But why would he need to be in solitary? Well, what I want to bring to your attention is that many times when God calls us for a purpose, a special, Moses had been chosen even when he was born. And so God preserved his life. And then he had, because of the training of being a royal, he had a lot of things inside of him that God had to purge out, right? Things like ego, pride, selfishness, all these things. And so sometimes we have to have things purged out of us as well. And sometimes it's good for us to sometimes we have to go off by ourselves, or God leads us off to ourselves, and in order to learn certain lessons, right? And so I had that experience myself, not 40 years, of course, but I left everyone, and there was just me and spirit, me and source, my divine, and I went through a lot of experiences that I needed to go through. And so as, I bring this story up of Moses, and just not to leave you hanging. So Moses spent 40 years being prepared out in the wilderness because he had a special mission to get the people, the children of Israel, released from bondage from Pharaoh. And we saw all the struggles that ensued, right? And so sometimes we have, a lot of us are amazed that it took the children of Israel, once they started and they left Egypt, it took them 40 years to get to the Promised Land. If you look at the modern map of the Holy Land, there as we call it, the Middle East, Egypt is, you can walk from Egypt into Canaan pretty much in a day. But the reason that took them so long is because of unbelief. The children of Israel, like Moses, had to learn a lot of different lessons, humility being one of them. All the things that we've already mentioned. But not only did the leader have to learn that first, then the people had to learn that. So with us, and I want to bring it back down to us. What about us? And really, I can't tell you what your purpose is. Only you can find that out with your source, with God, Yahweh, spirit source, whatever you're resonating with. And I'm telling you, as we develop, I wanted to get back to authenticity, because this is actually what Moses had to develop before he could even lead the first person, right? So as we go through finding our purpose, as we go through awakening spiritually, healing, all the post-healing, work that we do, authenticity is one of those things that will be developed. And authenticity is only a good thing. It gives us responsibility. It teaches us ethics. It teaches us integrity, how to be honest, vulnerability, passion. And so this will come about as you're determining what that purpose, what that journey, what the destiny is going to look like. And so when you develop authenticity, you're going to have some people constantly pointing their fingers at you. Don't worry about what anyone else thinks. Today I do not worry what people think about me. I don't care what the comments are. I answer the comments back. But what someone thinks about me, it's not my business. It's not my place to worry about it. That's between that person and God. It's not about me. I have nothing to do with it. And so we have to remember that as we develop authenticity, we have to find that inner trust. You're going to align your words and your beliefs together, and it encourages genuine connections then. So I know you've heard this a million times, sometimes we have to let people, places, or things go. They're not meant for us in our new life, right? And so we'll develop stronger relationships, a more positive self-image. Stress reduction is one of the byproducts of that. Ethical behavior, and this is a big one. Authenticity encourages acting in line with one's moral compass. What is your moral compass? Remember that inner compass is inside this beautiful heart space. And so, truth is a point of view, but authenticity cannot be faked. You cannot have authenticity and go out in the world and pretend like it's something else. Authenticity cannot be replicated, and either you're real or you're not. That's just the plain, simple truth of the matter. And I just want to encourage each one of you, to develop that purpose, whatever that purpose for you is. And look, God isn't going to leave you hanging. Once you start your process, once you awaken spiritually, I can tell you so many stories of, actually how my life was saved many times. He's not going to leave you hanging, and as you have to deal with the different people, don't worry about it. If you make mistakes along the way, look, we all make mistakes. Source, Spirit, God is ready and willing. I've got terrible heartburn, I'm so sorry. Is willing and ready to forgive all of your mistakes and move forward. Don't think about them again. And so we have to align ourselves with what our principles are. And you'll see that your principles will change as you grow spiritually, as you awaken, as you walk down the path. You'll find that your life will change dramatically for the better. And then you'll come in alignment with those things that you're looking for, whether it's a better job, new relationships, whatever it is, if you need some place to live or, whatever it is that you're asking for, what those desires are, you're going to receive them, universe will chase you down with your desires. You just have to let them know what those desires are. And when we do that beautiful workshop that we're planning on doing, it's going to be an interactive workshop, and it will be all about how to manage that power, that the vibrations, the frequency, and so forth and so on, and how to draw all those things to you easily. But again, I applaud you. Keep on the good work. I know I've seen many of you out there that have spiritually awakened. I know many are on that new timeline, and I see the collectives. The collective is rising in ascension. And so, again, if I can do anything at all, encouraging you, sending you handouts, pointing you in the right direction, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be able to do that for you. And I love each and every one of you. And just remember, I'm here rooting for you. And there are many, many people that can reach out to you if you need help. And so this is Dan, and I'll see you guys on the next video.